Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and where we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today I got a pretty fun episode that I'm really going to enjoy talking about, and the topic is prove Kobe Bryant was a much better shooter than LeBron James. So that's the topic I want to get into in today's video. But before we get into that, I want you guys to please make sure you go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell to be notified whenever we drop our content. Also, make sure you check out Dreamerspro Max, an online sports community place you can talk about basketball, chat live during games. We have that linked in the comment section below. Anyway, let me get into this topic here. So this is going to be a very fun topic for me, right? A very fun topic for me because y'all know Kobe Bryant is my favorite basketball player, but we do get some pushback from time to time from LeBron James fans saying, oh, LeBron was the much better basketball player because, efficiency matters, right? That's what they always tell me. That's what they always come and tell me. And listen, the LeBron and Kobe Bryant debate is one of the most, let's say, contentious basketball debates out there. Let's just be honest, right? A lot of LeBron James fans, I've noticed, get their talking points from people like Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright. It's one of the reasons I heard somebody say, or type rather, that LeBron is the most clutch basketball player in the history of, like, most clutch basketball player. I was like, what? Where did you get that notion from, right? Because they're just looking at his playoff, his playoff buzzer beaters, right? But if you look at a basketball player's career, that's why when I put Carmelo Anthony on that list, people are like, why would you put Carmelo? I'm like, Carmelo Anthony has the most field goals in the last 30 seconds, to win a game or whatever it is since 2003. Like, that's the fact. That is a fact. Kobe has like over 20 plus game winning or, game deciding jump shots or field goals, right? People don't want to hear that. They want to listen to Shannon Sharpe and Nick Wright. And I realize a lot of them get their talking points from these people. And I think to an extent, a lot of them have even been convinced that the Jordan and LeBron debate is a real thing. Like, a lot of people believe that. And in reality, it's really not. Like, I'm sorry to burst your bubble. It's really not. And listen, Michael Jordan is not my favorite player of all time. But at the same time, I'm not delusional. Kobe Bryant's my favorite player. But, like, you got to face reality at some point. When you do the research, you look at the tape, you saw The Last Dance. Like, after a while, you take your emotions out of it and just realize this guy was just on a completely different level. But there's some people out there that really feel like this is a real thing, when in reality, guys, it's really, really not. Jordan is a much better basketball player than LeBron James, and it's really not even close, to be quite honest with you. He was, he was a much better defender, easily a much better defender. Why? Because his resume shows it. LeBron has made 5 all-first defensive teams. Jordan has made 9. And he's made 12 all-defensive teams. Jordan played for 13 years with the Chicago Bulls, which means that every single year, he was one of the best defenders in basketball. He also has a Defensive Player of the Year. On the offensive side, he was a much better offensive player, and it's not close, guys. Y'all are looking at an average. Go out there and look at, because somebody can average a lot of points, that they can have a consistent average, so they can get like 27 points a night for a long time, and that's just the average. But go look at the guys out there that can score 40, 50, 60, like, on a reoccurring basis. Then you'll figure out those guys are the real scorers. Those are the guys that can put up a lot of buckets, but their averages, maybe they don't focus on their overall scoring averages, because maybe that's just not their, not their focus. But Jordan was a much better offensive player anyway, right? Because Jordan has the highest point per game average in the history of basketball in the regular season and the playoffs. Offensively, they're not even in the same universe. Jordan has 10 scoring titles. Like, what are we talking about here, right? So Jordan was a much better defender, especially on the perimeter, a much better defender, a much better scorer. That's already like half of, you have offense, you have defense, and of course you have the playmaking aspect. LeBron James is a better playmaker when it comes to assisting the ball. Jordan was obviously much more feared basketball player. He was a much better free throw shooter. He has the more impressive resume. He has more titles. He has more regular season MVPs. He has more steal. Like, Jordan led the league in steals twice. Like, what are we even talking about here? And he has the higher averages, as I just mentioned. And also, he's the bigger draw to the sport. Jordan got more people to be interested in basketball than any other basketball player ever, right? And you can look at the viewing numbers in the finals. You can look; they've been going down slowly since he left. Jordan is on a completely different level. So when people talk about, it's not close, guys. Like, that ship sailed First of all, those two ships were not even in the same dock to begin with. Like, Jordan is just a much better player, and I think people need to come to reality, come to grips with that. Kobe's my favorite player, but Jordan is better than Kobe, so it takes nothing for me to admit that if it's the truth. So back to the Kobe and LeBron James argument. So whenever I say that Kobe is a better player, and I'm just talking about basketball now, just on a skill level, just looking at these two guys who plays basketball better, I always say Kobe's a better basketball player, right? And LeBron James fans come back and say, no. Efficiency matters. And LeBron is the more efficient basketball player. That's what they always use. Okay, so let's talk about efficiency. Since you brought it up, we're going to talk about it, right? And let's get into efficiency. But before we get into that, I want to break it down because you never hear any of these guys talk about it on TV. Before we get into the whole efficiency argument, we got to look at playing styles, right? What type of styles do these guys play with? Kobe Bryant was a shooter that can slash. LeBron is a slasher that can shoot, kind of, right? That's the fundamental difference. Playing styles are going to dictate the way players behave on the court, right? So it's very important to understand this. Kobe Bryant, a majority of his offense came from his jump shots. He loved the jump shot because he obviously felt he was a more confident player. He felt more confident in his jump shot, therefore he took more jump shots. If you're not a confident jump shooter, you're not going to take a lot of jump shots. It's one of the reasons a lot of people came after Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons doesn't shoot because he's not confident in his ability to make shots. Kobe had a supreme level of confidence in his ability to shoot. He was so confident in his ability to shoot that he would take some of the most difficult shots out there, not really focused on his overall field goal percentage, but he just felt like there's not a shot that exists that I can't make. There's not a shot that exists that I can't make. The whole pull-up threes, you see Stephen Curry, Kobe was doing that, right? So it's important that we lay the ground rules for that. So anyway, now that I've said that, let's go into the shooting, right? Let's look at some advanced shooting numbers. And I want to start off here with LeBron James, and let's look at his shooting percentages, right? If you look at LeBron, he has the higher overall field goal shooting percentage than Kobe Bryant, right? LeBron James overall for his career, he shoots 50.4% from the field for his career. And if you look at Kobe Bryant, he shoots 44.5% from the field. So when people go and look at these numbers, they're going to say, well, LeBron James is a much better shooter. He shoots 5% percentage points better than Kobe Bryant. Nah, not really. Let's go back to the argument that I'm making here. So let's look at where these guys were getting their shots. LeBron James, the 2-point shot in his career, he shot it at a 55% rate, 2 points in, right? Now, if you look at LeBron from 0 to 3 feet from the basket, LeBron shot 73% from 0 to 3 feet from the basket. This is his field goal distance percentage. If you look at Kobe Bryant, from that same distance, Kobe Bryant shot 63.7%. So LeBron, when it comes to being closer to the basket, LeBron beats Kobe. He shoots a better field goal percentage from that distance. Now let's go from 3 feet to 10 feet out. LeBron then in his career goes from shooting 73% from 0 to 3, and he drops to 42 or 41.9% from 3 to 10 feet. If you look at Kobe, right? Kobe from that distance from 0 to 3, from 3 to 10, his field goal percentage goes to 43.7%, right? So his field goal percentage is actually higher. Let's look at LeBron James' field goal shooting percentage from 10 to 16 feet. From 10 to 16 feet for his career, he's a 36.8% shooter from that distance, from 10 to 16. Kobe, from 10 to 16 for his career, is a 43% shooter. 43. Kobe is shooting close to 5 percentage points higher than LeBron from 10 to 16. Now we're talking about shooting, right? Now, if you look at from 16 feet to the 3-point line, LeBron is a 38.5% shooter. Kobe Bryant from the 16 foot to 3-point line, he's a 40% shooter. Essentially, what's happening here, what you see is the further away Kobe and LeBron are from the basket, Kobe Bryant is the better shooter. Now, from the 3-point percentage, though, Kobe Bryant shot 32.9% and LeBron shot 34.5%. And I think the reason that is because Kobe didn't place much of an emphasis on the 3-point shot. If he did, he would have shot a higher percentage than LeBron James. And some people say, well, what will make you say that? Because Kobe has a better stroke. Kobe Bryant had a better shot, right? And some people say, no, he didn't. LeBron James didn't. Well, hold on a minute. You know where your shooting mechanics will find out of whether or not you're good, if you actually have good shooting mechanics and you have good shooting form? At the free throw line. Why? Because at the free throw line, nobody's next to you. Nobody's impeding your shot. It's just you, the basket, and you have to make a free throw. It's all on your mental capacity, your repetition, your work, and your mechanics to shoot. If you look at LeBron James's his overall career shooting free throw shooting percentage, he's a 73% free throw shooter. 73%. If you look at Kobe Bryant from the free throw line, he's an 83.7% free throw shooter. He shoots 10 percentage points higher than LeBron James. That's because he's a better free throw shooter. Kobe Bryant, for his career, as I just said, is a 70% free throw shooter. Do you know LeBron at no point in his career has ever shot 80% from the free throw line? And people are talking about shooting. So that's why I was surprised when we put the poll up on our channel and people were asking me, why didn't you put, when we're talking about who has the best shooting form, why didn't you put LeBron James? And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But have you seen LeBron James' shooting form? Have you seen his jump shot? And you want me to put him on the list? So that question alone let me understand that the people that were asking those questions didn't really know what the heck they were talking about in the first place, right? Now, some people may say, but no, the only thing that matters is the overall field goal shooting percentage. That right there will tell you who is the better shooter. Are you so sure about that? Okay, fine. Let's investigate that. Let's use that logic. Okay, let's use that logic. If you're saying that the overall field goal percentage is ultimately going to tell you who the better shooter is, then let me throw this idea at you. Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq, the Diesel, right? Shaq, for his career, he shot 58% from the field. That's incredible, right? Shaq shot close to 60% from the field. And Michael Jordan, for his career, shot 49.7% from the field. So with that logic, according to the people that say this, Shaq is the better shooter than Michael Jordan. That would be a ridiculous thing to say, because everybody knows that Shaq, the majority of his shots came close to the basket. Shaq didn't shoot mid-range jump shots. So anybody that would say that Shaq is a better shooter than Michael Jordan, you would know that they don't know what the heck they're talking about when they're talking about basketball. You have to put the numbers into context. When you put them into context, it is clear as day that Kobe was a much better shooter than LeBron James. LeBron had a higher overall field goal percentage because the majority of his shots came closer to the basket. Why is that? Because the closer you are to the rim, the higher your field goal percentage. Now, some people may say, well, it just proves to me that LeBron James is a brighter player because LeBron is going to take more shots closer to the rim. Not really. It proves to me that LeBron is the more limited offensive player. That's what it proves to me. Look at Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a monster, but he's limited offensively because if you try to block him out of the paint, he's not a threat from the perimeter. But look at Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is a threat from everywhere on the floor. He can score at a high level at the basket, close to 50% from the basket, and he can shoot close to 40% from the perimeter. So to me, the more dangerous guy is the guy that can hurt me from anywhere on the court instead of the guy that can just hurt me close to the basket. There goes your argument. So for the people that were asking me, is LeBron... No, he's not. The fact of the matter is, LeBron James loved to attack the basket, and Kobe Bryant was just a shooting dynamo. That is the reason right there. So when people are talking about influence, I just be sitting here laughing. The fact of the matter is, Kobe Bryant was the better shooter, plain and simple, or at least that's what the numbers tell me. So what I want to know from you guys is, what do you think about my argument? But most importantly, what do you think about the stats? Since y'all like to bring up stats, y'all are the stat junkies out there. Let me know what you guys think about this. Once again, this is Charles here from Dreamerspro. Wishing you guys an amazing day and catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.